You do your worst, because Canadians will do their best. We are true, north, strong, free, and it's elbows up time. Ladies and gentlemen, Canada will never bend. We will never kiss the gangster's ring.
That was Canadian Member of Parliament Charlie Angus in a powerful speech he just gave in Ottawa. As he says, elbows up, the Canadians are fighting back against the Trump regime. And already we're seeing the Trump regime cave. The Trump regime pulled back some of those auto tariffs that they imposed, and Canada gave nothing for it. Canada said, we're going to continue our reciprocal tariffs based upon the fact that you keep on attacking Canada. You want us to remove our reciprocal tariffs? You want us to stop banning your American booze from our supermarkets? Well, then get rid of the tariffs, treat us with respect, and then we can have a conversation, Donald. And then some of Donald Trump's trade advisors like Peter Navarro was like, can you not call him Donald? Let me show you another part of this incredible speech by Canadian Member of Parliament Charlie Angus in Ottawa. Here he says, look, maybe there's a deal that Donald Trump wants to make. Maybe he doesn't. Who cares? Donald Trump doesn't know what the hell he's doing, and he keeps attacking us, and he's not going to go away until we stand up, go elbows up, go over the boards, and knock down this bully. Here, play this clip.
Canada, to talk about where we stand with the latest threats from Donald Trump. Once again, he's huffing and puffing and threatening to blow our nation away. And like last time, as soon as Canada stands up and shows that we are not afraid, suddenly the MAGA crew start backpedaling, and maybe there's going to be a deal in the works. Maybe they're going to have something figured out. Maybe, maybe not.
Man, Charlie Angus does not mince words. I hear there's a movement in Canada, Draft Charlie Angus, but he's been an incredible unifying voice throughout Canada, and it's been an honor to become such close friends with him here at the MeidasTouch Network. We got the Maple Mighty, or the Midas Maple, whichever you prefer, standing strong. Over here, we have, next up, Member of Parliament Charlie Angus talks about how the century of America's leadership is now over because of Donald Trump. Here, watch this.
But I want to compare what's happening in Canada to the dumpster fire USA. Because what we've seen in just 60 days is that Donald Trump has burned up the great American century.
Now, if I can, let me share with you the whole speech. It's only about 7 minutes long by Charlie Angus in Ottawa. I think it's incredibly powerful. One of the best speeches I've heard recently. You're going to want to watch every single word. So first watch this, and then when we come back, I want to show you the Trump regime squealing. Watch Charlie Angus's press conference. Let's play.
Good morning. Wache. Bonjour. I'm Charlie Angus here on the unceded territory of the Algonquin Nation, Parliament Hill, Canada, to talk about where we stand with the latest threats from Donald Trump. Once again, he's huffing and puffing and threatening to blow our nation away. And like last time, as soon as Canada stands up and shows that we are not afraid, suddenly the MAGA crew start backpedaling, and maybe there's going to be a deal in the works. Maybe they're going to have something figured out. Maybe, maybe not. I'm not here to give anyone false hope, because Canadians understand that this is not a trade war we're talking about. This is a war by other means. A war of disinformation and ridicule, questioning our right to exist, our sovereignty, our borders, very much the way Vladimir Putin launched his disinformation war in the years leading up to the brutal invasion of Ukraine. It's a siege war. He's poking us and trying to see if there's divisions, if there's fear. What he's learning very quickly, and what the world is learning, is that Canadians know what is at stake, and we will not bend or break. Because Donald Trump believes we have no right as a nation, and we will always be there for our nation. But I want to compare what's happening in Canada to the dumpster fire USA. Because what we've seen in just 60 days is that Donald Trump has burned up the great American century. He's burned through his alliances with key allies. He's burned through Americans' leadership role on the international stage with his disgusting attack on President Zelensky and his willingness to put America on side with North Korea and Russia. So this is how the great American century ends. It's not with a bang or with a whimper. It's like some kind of tacky roadshow from the World Wrestling Federation. And now Donald Trump has decided to go further by blowing apart the greatest economic trade relationship in history, plunging our nation and our people into chaos. But what he's really doing is making America weaker, more divided, more alone. And we know that Canada will stand up and Canada will push back, and American jobs will suffer, and the American economy is suffering. So now the world looks to Canada and wonders, well, just who are these Canadians? Do they have what it takes to stand up to the Proud Boys in Washington? They're learning very quickly that, yes, we're a nation that we like to squabble and we like to disagree with one another. But when you come at us, we come back hard. Call it our Juno Beach gene. Canadians understand what's ahead. They know that this is going to be hard. They know that people will suffer and that there will families who will be hurt. There's no getting around that. But they also know that Canadians will stand together, just as we've always stood. I want to give a shout out this morning, and it's why I'm here, to the amazing leaders who are on the front lines defending Canada. The countless Canadians who've been reaching out to me about canceling vacations to Arizona, canceling honeymoons in South Carolina, canceling business trips and conventions in Vermont and Florida. People who've taken a personal cost. Now, that might not seem like a big deal, but these are the decisions being made at kitchen tables across our nation to stand with Canada or to give in. I want to give a shout out to the mums and the grandmoms who call me from all across this nation, who tell me they take that extra time in the grocery store to make sure that nothing from the United States ends up in their grocery baskets. A big shout out to the Canadian artists who are boycotting South by Southwest in Texas this year, the biggest music festival for Canadian artists, a decision that will cost their careers, but they would rather stand up for Canada than be divided. And I want to give a special shout out to the new Canadian voices that I heard on CBC yesterday, the people, first generation Canadians in Scarborough, who are on the lowest part of the economic rung, who they know when economic hard times come, they're going to take the first hit. And they talked about how proud they were, how they felt more unified as being Canadian than ever before. And that's the issue that I'm here to point out. Because in America right now, Donald Trump and the MAGA crew want to have a nation run by white men for white men. And they think that makes them tough. And they look on us and think we're weak because we're decent and we're democratic and we're inclusive. But that is our strength, because we're not afraid about what pronouns someone uses. We're not angry by who someone marries. We come together across racial lines. We celebrate our linguistic diversity. We celebrate our regional diversity. We celebrate the fact that we are a settler population on the indigenous territories of this nation. And yeah, we get a lot wrong. And yeah, we're a work in progress. But when push comes to shove, we are indivisible. We stand together. We are one. It's that diversity that makes us strong. So I want to thank everybody who's been pulling their load and to say to them, Whether or not this tariff war ends tomorrow or whether Donald comes up with some bogus reason that he's scored a victory, you know what's at stake. This is just the beginning. The next 4 years will determine our future as a nation. And I know the Canadians will be strong. Because as Winston Churchill said, we will mete out for you everything that you try to throw at us, and we will go one step further. Donald, you do your worst, because Canadians will do their best. We are true, north, strong, free, and it's elbows up time. Ladies and gentlemen, Canada will never bend. We will never kiss the gangster's ring.
If there's a surefire way to wake up feeling fresh after a night of drinking, it's with pre-alcohol. ZBiotics Pre-Alcohol Probiotic Drink is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. It was invented by PhD scientists to tackle rough mornings after drinking. Here's how it works. When you drink, alcohol gets converted into a toxic byproduct in the gut. It's this byproduct, not dehydration, that's to blame for your rough next day. Pre-alcohol produces an enzyme to break this byproduct down. Just remember to make pre-alcohol your first drink of the night. Drink responsibly, and you'll feel your best tomorrow. Every time I have pre-alcohol before drinks, I notice a difference the next day. Even after a night out, I can confidently plan on having a great next day without worrying. Look, I won't lie, I was a bit on the fence about pre-alcohol initially, but then while hanging out with some friends over at our local brewery, I gave it a shot, and believe me, it's the real deal. When I first gave pre-alcohol a try months ago, I was at a wedding, I drank it before my first martini, and you wouldn't believe how on top of my game I felt the very next morning. This March Madness, don't let anything sideline your celebrations. Grab pre-alcohol before you go out and be ready to cheer on your team all day and night long. Go to zbiotics.com/Meidas to learn more and get 15% off your first order when you use Meidas at checkout. ZBiotics is backed with a 100% money-back guarantee, so if you're unsatisfied for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. Remember, head to zbiotics.com/Meidas and use code Meidas at checkout for 15% off.
I told you were going to want to watch that full press conference right there. So what happened in the past 24 hours? Well, Donald Trump was summoned by the big three auto manufacturers in Detroit. The CEO of General Motors, Ford, and Stellantis gave him a call and said, "What the hell are you doing? Do you realize, first and foremost, that you were the one who negotiated the United States-Mexico-Canada agreement? So now you're breaching your own agreement, idiot, and you're about to cause numerous auto manufacturing plants to shut down, moron, and Canada's standing strong. I don't know what the hell you're doing, Trump." So what Donald Trump then did is he paused because he has no clue what he's doing. So the same way, you know, how with like Donald Trump's cases, when he files the lawsuits, he always tries to delay. So he now moved back the tariffs just as it relates to auto to April 2nd. All the other tariffs are still in place. The auto trade between US, Canada, and Mexico, I don't know, that makes up about like 15 to 20% of the trade. It's so a lot of the other tariffs are still there, and it's still going to have a crippling effect, but Canada is standing strong. I want you to watch this moment where Caitlin Collins of CNN asked United States propagandist from the White House, the Trump regime, Caroline Leavitt. So what is behind your calculus of giving a 1 month reprieve until like April 2nd on the tariffs as it relates to auto manufacturing? Here, play this clip.
One, on the reprieve that is being granted to these three automakers for 1 month on the tariffs on Canada and Mexico. How did the president settle on 1 month?
The reciprocal tariffs will go into effect on April 2nd, and he feels strongly about that no matter what, no exemption. So that's where the 1 month comes from.
Does he expect them to be able to shift production within a month?
He told them that they should get on it, start investing, start moving, shift production here to the United States of America, where they will pay no tariff. That's the ultimate goal.
I mean, truthfully, she has no clue what she is doing there. Here is Howard Lutnick, the Commerce Secretary from the Trump regime, already walking back the tariffs going on Fox to do it. But then he's like, well, we haven't decided yet, but we're doing it. Just watch how flustered this moron looks. Let's play it.
And listening, he spoke today to Justin Trudeau this morning, and I was on that call. And so I think he's leaning towards coming up with an idea that allows USMCA, the deal he struck with Mexico and Canada, that's about half of Mexico and Canada. It's about half. Maybe those markets for the next month get excluded from the tariff, and the other half. So basically, if you were doing trading with the United States of America and you ignored Donald Trump's agreement that he made years ago, you did it at your own risk. And so the president's thinking, now he hasn't decided this yet, so it's up to him. But he spoke to the big automakers yesterday, so he was leaning towards helping them out for just this month. And then we need to see the Canadians and Mexicans put long-lasting protections in to protect America. Not this, oh, I'm doing a lot of work for the last 3 weeks. Give me a break.
Okay, so...
But then, of course, Caroline Leavitt has to once again insult Canada, demean our ally in Canada, disrespect Canada. And Canada sees what's happening. And here Caroline Leavitt with that smirk on her face is like, we feel strongly that we want to make it our 51st state. Ha ha ha. We want to conquer it. Ha ha ha. Aren't I so funny? I mean, it's so ridiculous. Grow up. Play this clip.
The president continues to call the Prime Minister of Canada, Justin Trudeau, Governor of Canada. I'm curious what he means by that, and if there are any plans that are moving forward with trying to make Canada the 51st state. And I have a follow-up on the economy as well.
Sure. Well, the president put that in his True Social account, or his True Social post earlier today. He feels strongly that it would be very beneficial for the Canadian people to be the 51st state of the United States. They wouldn't be paying for these tariffs. They'd have much lower taxes if they were part of our great country.
Let me show you this right here. This is this is the Premier of Manitoba, saying, I am signing a big, beautiful order today, pulling all of the American booze from our supermarkets. And that followed what went down in Ontario with their Premier Doug Ford. Here, watch this moment. Let's play it.
Okay, this order, it's a wonderful order. It's a beautiful order. This order is pulling American booze off the liquor mart shelves.
And then finally, here is one of Trump's trade advisors, Peter Navarro, fresh out of jail. You get the trend here. And here Peter Navarro is big mad at Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, calling Donald Trump Donald. Play this clip.
And the president will not tolerate that anymore. So I watched the conference yesterday with Mr. Trudeau, and he's calling the president dumb. He's calling him Donald instead of respectfully the president. And we're all talking trade war. It's not about that.
What was the president's reaction to him saying that?
I wasn't there when he was doing that.
Do you know
but
what his reaction
I
was?
do not, and I don't involve myself in that.
So utterly weak. And the comparison between Canadian Member of Parliament Charlie Angus and the weakness of Donald Trump, it couldn't be more clear. Tell me what you think. Hit subscribe, and let's get to 5 million subscribers.
The truth is more important than ever. Check out our new Truth Over Lies collection at store.MeidasTouch.com. All 100% USA union made.